All right, so I guess it's go time. This has been a long time in the making. I don't even know where to start. So I've been wanting to do a YouTube channel for over a decade, even before I knew what a content creator was. And it is something that I made it my resolution this New Year's in 2024 to actually do and to bring into the world. I've had so many ideas and some good ones that I could not fulfill because of barriers that were kind of out of my control. But I gave myself a deadline to start uploading things by the 15th. And it's the 15th, and I'm always at last minute. And now my Wi-Fi is out, so I was unable to use the AI app to do the little shorts for my original idea, which I'm still going to do later. And then I'm trying to figure out some other options. And, you know, my cell phone service, which I was using the internet for my cell phone service, the internet is disabled on my cell phone. I don't know why. My service is fine, but something in the Wi-Fi is just not letting me go online, which is so frustrating, you know, and at that point it's like, okay, well, now what the fuck do I do? I I couldn't look up anything online. I couldn't even listen to music because I don't have physical music or CD player anymore, or nothing downloaded. So I'm frustrated and pissed off, and I decided, well, maybe I should just film, get an idea of aspect ratios and what the background will look like, and maybe if I just word vomit and ramble into the camera for I don't know how long, then God willing, maybe I can clip like a 10 to 30-second clip of like some fucking genius to come out of this. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to just film this and upload it and hope and pray that no one ever really fucking watches it, and just put out my intentions and ideas. So that's what I'm doing. Because I said I would. Because I got to start holding myself accountable to the things that I say I'm going to do. Um, it's a ideal that I hold very true, and I use to make my judgments on others about, and so I should hold myself up to the same standard of actually fulfilling in some manner or another what I said I was going to do. So that's what I'm doing. Uh, yeah, I don't even know what I want the channel to be about. I'm a spiritual person. I love studying theology and philosophy, and I was raised Catholic and kind of left the faith and flippity flopped. I'm kind of researching it again, and but that is what it is. And then there's so much going on these days with government and public discourse and so much bullshit. Like, I cannot believe the things that people will just say online with no regard of like how illogical it is or what stupidity they are putting out there. It's mind blowing. So a little bit of what I'm doing is almost to try and balance or counteract the narrative, because I see so many videos on the platform of public discourse that people are commenting on that shouldn't even be given any merit or attention. And so part of what I want to do with this channel is be able to put out ideas to flip narratives that are on the public discourse stage, to redirect them, because there's some ideas that I get that I just feel I should share with the world. No other way to really explain it. For example, all the crap about pronouns and people having their identity The pronouns are their identity, and respect their identity and respect their pronouns. Well, the way I see it is, well, people are nouns. Nouns are described by adjectives. And yeah, so my identity is not necessarily my gender, it's all the other stuff that I actually, oh, it's Martin Luther King Day. The content of your character is your identity, the things that you put into it that you cannot be just born with or handed to or even choose to speak on if you're not making the corresponding actions. Like, yeah. So many people were talking about pronouns this and pronouns that. And it's like, dude, like, I'll talk about pronouns when, like, you have your identity based on some adjectives. Like, if we're going to talk about, like, parts of speech, okay, so yeah, we'll talk about pronouns eventually, but, like, first, what adjectives are your identity? Because the way I see it, as is, a noun is a person, place, or thing, right? A pronoun describes the thing or the person. So if you're respecting your identity as a pronoun, then in my mind, it somehow corresponds to, well, a tool. Like, because I can be a subject of something because I'm subjective to God. I'm the narrator of my story, but I've given myself to God to be a subject for God. And therefore, I am what I am. I am a noun who is chosen of free will to be a subject for God and then holds that power. But if someone who has no God or any won't subjugate themselves to any other authoritative force except for the material world and saying that their identity is a pronoun, therefore, logically, that would make the person a tool. And I don't really respect tools. I'll use tools, but respect only as a matter of like making sure they don't hurt me. But respect doesn't keep my distance from. But real genuine respect is not for tools. That is something for other subjects, not objects. Because I'm a subject and not an object. Anyone who wants to be a pronoun is therefore an object. I don't know. Something along that lines. There's just something fundamentally like twacked in that narrative. And I think there's the people that know and they know, and there's years of different influencers or commentators, speaking on it in their own one way or another. And it's hard to articulate because if you know, you just know. But the sad part is the lack of education in this country and how the people who have it tend to take it for granted that everyone else does, and doesn't really consider all the other factors that could come along with family dynamics, and you don't know what another person's household encouraged or what they were taught. So yeah, I do see my education as a privilege, and I like learning things, which is too rare in this world. And if I don't know something, if I'm not 100% sure about something, I will look it up so I can be sure about it. Like, I know that I don't know everything, but I like to know things. And so if I don't know something, I will look it up and learn something new. Therefore, I know a lot of shit. It's annoying. It annoys a lot of people. It annoys me. But it just is. I had a nickname once upon a time in my life, Aunt Google. Like, my brain just holds on to like all of this like random ass information that it's not like, I mean, I enjoy it and people appreciate that in me. I've always been a person that people come to for advice, but since I didn't finish college and I don't have the paperwork credentials to go be a therapist, it's resulted in my gifts being kind of sometimes taken advantage of or underappreciated. And I found myself in a point in my life where like I have $20 in my fucking account in Bitcoin at that, which I think is dropping. And, I'm a good person and I want a better life. And I feel like I'm called to do something to make a positive change in the world. And I don't know what to do with that. Like, I don't know how to do it from where I am. I don't know if anyone's listening. I don't know if anyone cares. But I guess that's why I'm doing this. Because I care. And I couldn't just sit back and do nothing anymore. Because it was driving me fucking nuts. And, I don't really care so much about money. I never cared about money. It's never been a thing. Money is the root of all evil. I've seen what it's done to other people that I've known, and how people really do just sell their souls to the fucking capitalistic system, and then their subconscious decisions are just driven by like self-fulfilling ego and with no concern of who it's going to affect or hurt in the process. And it's horrifying. And it's really caused a lot of turmoil in my life. And so I was kind of anti monetization or capitalism in a way. But then on the other hand, it's like, well, money is a tool. If you look at money as a tool, just an objective tool, it can be used for good or bad. And yes, it is a tool. There's needs that a person has, and money is not a need. But it can make obtaining those needs a lot simpler, but it won't solve everything. And so, yeah, I need to figure out a way to, like, I hate saying monetize my gifts because I feel icky just even saying that. But I guess it's the truth. Like, even if I don't want it. Because I do know I have a good head on my shoulders, and I do know that I can make positive change. And my options have been very limited without the funds to do so. And now because of health problems, I've been kind of in this existential vacuum of an apartment in LA that I fucking hate, but my mobility is limited, and so like I can't go back to being a fucking traveling gypsy with a bike and a wagon and a guitar, like going around talking to people one by one, creating ripples, which I really loved doing. That whole journey was a great part of my life, and I miss it. I really, really miss it. So I guess that's why I'm coming to the internet. Because, like, yeah, I was homeless, but I consider it houseless or nomadic. Like, I met so many people and had so many great conversations, and I know that I've helped people. Whether I have the proof of it or not, I just know. I know people that would come through Denver and I'd talk to them, and then they come back through like years later and tell me that like something that we talked about really had an effect on them. And it made me feel really, really, really good. And I guess that's part of my intention in this too, to get some of that back. Whether I get monetization or not, maybe I'll do an advice page. Maybe I'll do things about spirituality. Maybe I'll do things on public discourse or comments on whatever bullshit the people on the news are talking about, or some of the insanities of people and their cognitive dissonance. Like, oh my God, don't even get me started on the whole Israel-Palestine fucking conflict. Oh my God, the amount of people who want to speak on that without having any idea about any of the faiths involved in it is absurd. Fucking absurd. The way people just have a stance on that issue without any knowledge on the tenements of the Jewish religion, the tenements of the Muslim religion, or of ever being in that location, and they feel like they know anything about it. Yeah. Someone was like, well, I'm again, my mom's mad at me because, yeah, like, I'm against genocide, but it's been a 70-something year occupation. I'm like, whoa, honey, it's like been over 2,000 year issue. If you want to talk about like past, like, don't stop right there. Like, you got to see big picture before you're gonna go off and like write petitions and shit, because you don't, if you go half cocked, you don't know what kind of like harm you can do thinking you're doing good, and it can get really twisted. So it's like, tread carefully and only speak on what you know, hon, you know? And I guess that was directed at a certain person who will know who they are, but it's irrelevant. But it's just, I mean, like, sometimes people can get so quick to like want to judge and place blame on things, and it's not always that simple, because any person is only like a product of their limited perceptions and experiences. And but I think at some level every person wants to be good, and that's not to say that all people are good. Unfortunately, most people want to be good. They tell themselves they're good, but then when it comes down to their actions, they're not usually consistent, and they brush it off into the subconscious and tally ho, carry on. And yeah, sure, that's done a lot of wreckage in the world. I don't know what I'm going to get out of this. I don't know why I'm even doing this. I don't even know when I'm going to be able to upload this, because T-Mobile is not giving me internet service right now. And that's where it gets really weird. Like, I know why the home Wi-Fi is out. I'm late on the bill. Okay, I'll try and take care of that before next week. Waiting for my disability to come through. I have, like, once again, like I said, $20 in Bitcoin to my name, which might be lower than that, depending on where the market is. And about like $4.50 in various change. So like, yeah, I can't get my Wi-Fi on, but then when it comes down to the phone service is good and my phone service is working, but T-Mobile's not giving me fucking internet right now, like, okay, well at that point it's like, I don't know anything about how internet works and I have no power to change it. And it's like, at what point do you have to say, okay, this might be a sign from something I cannot see or speak on? So that's where I am with that. But if maybe this will just be like a self-therapy word vomit channel that no one ever sees. If it is, it is. But I have a lot of great ideas that I want to do. I wanted to do a short series on Proverbs, because I was looking up the Proverbs for someone who has dyslexia. And so I wanted to see if there were like audio clips, because, you know, daily Proverbs, there's 31 Proverbs. So if you read the Proverbs of the corresponding day, it's how like one of the ways the Living Bible talks to you, I guess is how it was explained to me. But it's uncanny. And it's a practice that is kind of helpful when seeking purpose. So I was looking for the corresponding daily Proverbs. It was like last month. I don't remember what day it was, but I was looking for the proverb for that day to send to a person. And I found like one, and it was like horrible music, like god awful music, and the voiceover was just very masculine. And so I got an idea to do like the 31 Proverbs and do each one into a short. And then I got the idea of doing, because with all the AI stuff and redoing scripts, you know, AI can rewrite the Bible for you. So I was twiddling around with that. You know, asked AI to simplify, get the book of Proverbs, but simplified for people to get the overall message of each proverb, but for someone who is a member of Generation X or Generation Z, or a millennial, and someone who has never read the Bible. And what AI spat back to me was actually kind of interesting. So each long proverb, it condensed down to like 2 sentences. It was like, hey, y'all, this is going to give you some straight up information, no cap. So I was thinking about doing a little short series where the visual would have like a background and the actual biblical text of the proverb, but then do the voiceover of what AI scripted. And for the translation, I don't know. It was an idea, because it kind of came from a couple different things. A friend who has a hard time reading because of dyslexia, and then I spent some time in county jail, and that's where I got the idea about the daily proverbs, is going to church in jail. And there was someone that I was bunkies with, and she also was not a reader. And so we started doing the daily proverbs every night. And then I realized that, like, a lot of people who read the Bible, even when they're trying to read the Bible, because of the old English speak, have no idea what the words mean or what sentiment is trying to express. So I started doing a practice for probably a good month or more, like, of every night we would read the proverb for that day, and then we would go over it sentence by sentence of what each sentence meant and the implication therefore, and put it into common tense. The example that comes to mind, my favorite of the proverbs is, do not cast your pearls before swine, lest they will stumble them into the dirt and then turn and ravage upon you. That's one of my favorites. And that's a deep one. Basic, and we would go through it like, okay, so what are pearls? Pearls are valuable things that you treasure and you have to search for. What are swine? Well, pigs, things that they consider disrespectful or dirty. So it's basically saying, do not give your good things, your good ideas, your good resources to disrespectful people who don't really want it because they're not going to appreciate it, and they'll just toss it aside like garbage and then turn on you in the end after you've given them everything, is the point that I get from that proverb. But it was like one of those epiphany moments that I like having. That's why I call the page Epiphany Gazette, because I have a lot of epiphanies. And Gazette is like a newspaper, and it actually rhymes with my real name, Stephanie Gazette, Epiphany Gazette. It works. Anyway, so yeah, I guess that's a little summary of my intentions and where I'm going with that. But it's just my little attempt of creating good content, because I never thought I was good enough. But then with all the crap that is out there, I have had to reassess my original assumptions, because there is so much fucking crap out there, and I felt I needed to balance it, because why not? And yeah, I would like to, have this turn into some sort of like career, or, it'd be nice to not have to live off the fucking government, and to be successful, whatever the fuck that means, and yada yada yada. But it's not my main intention, where you have all these fucking scammers with pages of, make X $1,000 on YouTube. I'll tell you how. And basically the instructions are telling them how to scam fucking people without even telling them that they're being used as a tool to fucking scam people. What the hell is wrong with the world? I mean, yeah, that is one of the many things that is wrong with the world, and upon of which of the people who see these things maybe don't always have the self-esteem to speak on it. And I guess that's what I'm trying to change. And it took a act of God turning off all Wi-Fi and cellular service to get me to do it, because I had it in the back of my head, and then I'm worried about makeup and what I'm going to look like. And like, fuck it. Like, I can use filters. I can edit it. I'm really hoping no one ever watches this. And maybe if I rewatch it, maybe if I do this long enough, I can like snip 10 seconds out for shorts to start actually publishing content that could monetize my page, that needs 1,000 subscribers and 40,000 hours of view time, which is just incomprehensible to me right now, because I've got like 22 accumulated subscribers, and I don't even think past view time it counts, because I think it's like a certain amount of view hours in a certain period. I don't know. I'm like praying for help. I need help. If anyone does see this and wants to help me edit something or talk about ideas and concepts, I'm looking for it. I want to collaborate. I want to collaborate on co-creating a better world, because yeah, we are at a precipice. I see it. I feel it. It's visceral. I feel it. There's something coming, and I can't panic because I know that panicking is not good. Panicking wants me to dig into a hole. It's that feeling of, yeah, something's coming, and yeah, it could go either way, but it's like I need to do something, and this is about all I can do.